Hello everyone, my name is Ernest Darkwah. I'm from Ghana, West Africa. Currently, I work at the Department of Psychology at the University of Ghana, where I teach undergraduate courses in psychology, and I also teach graduate courses in industrial and organizational psychology. For my undergraduate education, I was a psychology major, and I minored in sociology. And then I did my graduate studies, my Master of Philosophy in industrial and organizational psychology. In Ghana, unfortunately, there's no specialist or professional training in occupational psychology. Rather, we have it to be industrial and organizational psychology. So that's what I did. And then here in Ghana, and then I had the opportunity to travel to Norway on a scholarship, and I studied for my PhD in health promotion. So it was during my studies in Norway that I got into contact with the DOP through my amazing supervisor. And so when I got into contact with DOP, it was a fantastic experience. For the first time, I attended an international conference, which was DOP 2018. And guess what? I won the Delegate's Choice Poster Prize. Yay! Right? So it was fantastic. I met very good people. I met Christina Montariti, who was part of the team. And then I also met Ingrid Covington. And then I met Fiona Beddoes-Jones. Fantastic people. They made me feel at home because I came to the conference scared. It was my first time. I wasn't so sure about myself, but they made me feel at home. I thank them so much for the exposure. So my journey into occupational psychology was not something that was a dream from childhood. I rather got to know about occupational psychology when I was at university, and I decided to do it for practical reasons. Initially, I wanted to go into clinical psychology because clinical psychology is the most recognized field of psychology in Ghana, and they're the ones who get jobs quicker. But the financial commitment in the clinical training was too much for me to bear, so I found out that doing industrial and organizational psychology would be better for me for my situation. So that's how I branched into it. And when I did it, I haven't regretted it, and my contact with the DOP has made me very much appreciative of that decision that I took that day. So the typical working day in Ghana for me, I teach a lot of undergraduate students. So last year, for example, I taught the total number of students I taught at undergraduate level was around 3,000 from first year to final year. It was crazy, right? But I did my best. So at a sitting, you have close to 500 students sitting in the lecture room, listening to you, watching you, and wanting to know what you have to say to them. The pressure can be high, but I'm doing my best. So far, I haven't had my hands on any consultancy or organizational consultancy yet, but I am looking forward to my first one. There's this organization in Ghana that is interested in hiring me to organize a training for their staff on sexual harassment at work. I am researching very hard, and I'm preparing very hard towards it because I realize that there's deficiency in the sexual harassment training that organizations give to their employees in Ghana. They focus only on or so much on what constitutes sexual harassment and do not give too much attention to getting the employees to appreciate the devastating consequences of that behavior on the people who fall victim to it. And that is where I intend to focus on, to make people appreciate how far the consequences can go for the victim, for the organization, and even sometimes for the perpetrator. So I'm preparing well. I hope I can do well in that area also. Okay, so aside from that, my research in occupational psychology has been focused on employee health and well-being. So my PhD project was conducted in a field that you don't necessarily find occupational psychologists there, that is an orphanage. So I decided to veer off the traditional path of focusing on the children in an orphanage, their psychological implications of their environment for their growth and their well-being. And I decided to look at the orphanage as an occupational context and explore the experiences of the people who work within this occupational context. Now I'm moving to the field of nursing, so I have begun researching the lived experiences of newly recruited nurses in Ghana, and I'm finding a lot of interesting stuff that's coming out of this research. And I'm also going to look into occupational reality shock among younger nurses in Ghana. So yeah, I've got something going, and I'm looking forward to DOP 2020, this virtual conference. It's going to be fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody again, and I want to encourage anybody who is interested in occupational psychology to get in contact with the DOP, because it will get you going. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best.
Hello, I'm Beth McManus. I'm an organisational psychologist, coach and illustrator in Manchester, UK. I'd like to share with you what my experience of working in organisational psychology is like and what it is that I do on a day-to-day basis. But in order to explain all of that, I should probably start with the beginning. In what I now refer to as my former professional life, I was a retail manager working for high street and luxury brands such as Topshop and Whistles. I spent a lot of time working in department stores and realised that alongside developing my team and a strong creative talent in the visual aspects of my role, I was really good at building relationships, juggling competing demands and problem solving. Combined with a love for policy and procedure, I decided to undertake a HR and psychology degree aged 27, and it's no exaggeration to say that that decision has changed my life. I had originally planned to go into HR consultancy. I wanted to give my extravagantly sized wardrobe an opportunity for outings that made an impact on people's working lives. And with my values around justice and integrity, at the time this felt like it would be a great fit. During my first year at university, I discovered you could be an occupational psychologist and that the other Manchester University did a master's in it. Finding out you didn't have to struggle to bring people and work and science into one place by cobbling together a joint honours that only one other person in the entire university was undertaking was a bit of a eureka moment in me deciding what I wanted to be when I grew up. My life in retail had led to an interest in emotion and affect at work, mainly from all the awful customers that my team and I had had to deal with over the years. Alongside the notions of organisational citizenship behaviours and barriers to connection with self in our working lives. I graduated from my undergraduate degree with a first-class honours, enthusiastically pursued my master's in occupational psychology, and rather stupidly embarked on a full-time role within the NHS, doing staff engagement and organisational development, whilst attempting to conduct research and write a dissertation. This next bit is perhaps not the angle the typical, you can have it all, or why not burn yourself out completely by working and studying at the same time stories tend to go with. But it feels important to share that I failed my first attempt at my dissertation and had to resubmit, knowing this would cap my degree outcome and dissolve any last hope I had of achieving a merit or distinction in line with all my other hard-earned submissions. I wanted to share this in the hope that those of you who are not academically aligned and are juggling real life and all its challenges alongside a path to a career in occupational psychology know that you can have it all and come out of the other side with a career that you love, but probably not all at the same time, unless of course you want to sacrifice your health, relationships, degree outcome or job in the process. I did resubmit and pass and graduated feeling a bit shamefaced that I hadn't managed to do it all at 100 miles an hour. After 12 months working in the NHS, I decided I wanted to explore what it would be like to go it alone and became freelance as a psychologist, coach and illustrator. A friend once said to me, "You'll never be happy working for someone else." And it turns out he was right. I do, however, have a great deal to thank the teams within the NHS that I worked with for in shaping my current career, and actually everyone I've ever worked with across retail, customer service and administrative roles, as these relationships taught me how to be human at work. I think that's the greatest gift that I now share with the teams and organisations that I work with. There's no such thing as a typical workday for me, particularly now I'm studying a second master's in applied positive psychology and coaching psychology from UEL, in the hope I can really start to streamline my working practice to support well-being and creativity. And perhaps deal with some of those demons that still linger around my previous academic performance. In terms of my current mix of endeavours, I am Director of Create Flow, where I'm supporting organisational and individual change that is kind to people and the planet. I work as a freelance associate for Robertson Cooper, delivering resilience sessions, and Capfinity, where I support projects built around strengths-based assessment. I'm also an associate lecturer in psychology at Arden University. It's important for me as a scientist to partner with organisations who have science and research at the heart of their offer. I also do illustration commissions and have worked with clients from the British Council to Manchester International Festival, where I've recently worked as a consultant designing training for an innovative development programme to support young people into the arts through their Factory Academy initiative. I'm an enthusiastic volunteer and have supported the Youth Employment and Volunteer Development working groups over the last couple of years within the BPS division of occupational psychology. I also volunteer as a coach through the Pankhurst Trust in Manchester, who support those who identify as women with leadership potential that have financial or other barriers to accessing coaching. It's important to me to build a working life that incorporates opportunities to give as well as to grow. And I can honestly say, although I have worked really hard to find and secure the opportunities I've been afforded, the single most important piece of that entire puzzle has been building authentic relationships with interesting people around me. If you see someone who's doing something that you like, tell them.